Afternoon YouTube, Scott at SE Landscaping, and we're making the 3-hour journey home after a productive, fun and educational 2 days at Saltex. And I shall start by thanking everybody. A lot of my watchers who are on here came up to me and introduced themselves. A lot of people I'd never met, so it was good to meet you guys. Chat about the industry, chat about the channel. I'm pleased it's doing what people want it to do. It's helping people pick machinery, it's helping people make decisions, informed decisions, who are moving into the grounds maintenance commercial industry. And 1 or 2 people who've actually commented and said, look, it's really working for me. So that's what it's all about. I'm never going to be a millionaire off YouTube, but if we can make 1 or 2 people a good few grand in the process, that's what it's all about, which is what the groups, the social media groups and everything are about, is helping each other out. And one day I might need some assistance off somebody, so when that day comes, just be aware I will be asking. But basically, the couple of days started, I made my way down to Saltex with an early 5 o'clock start. We started the couple of days in Wetherspoons with a breakfast, met up with the usual crew, Greg, Dave, etc. And then we went to Saltex, and what I found was, how can I say it? It was busy, but it wasn't as busy as pre-COVID. So when I was at Saltex in 2019, a lot of the stalls, you were 5 or 6 deep and you couldn't talk to people. Last year it was quiet. This year it was still, I would say, quiet. Numbers weren't great, but that's the benefit of us. It's not the benefit of the people who are trying to sell the machines, which is another story in a minute. It's the benefit to us that we got to see more equipment. Now, unfortunately, day one, I think I managed to actually have conversations with 4 dealers on 4 stalls, because, not a bad thing, but as I explained earlier, chatting to people takes up a lot of time. I did plan on this, that's why I planned the 2 days, because we did chat to people, and some of those conversations could take half an hour. So by having those conversations, it meant we didn't get enough time with the dealers. So that was what the Thursday was for, because most of what I find is most of the people go on a Wednesday. Thursday's a lot quieter, so it's that was the day where I had most of the conversations with people. But coming back to the machinery side of it, most of the large dealers, not your 21-inch standard mower that's available, but most of the large dealers are still quoting a year to 2 years for machinery. So I will say again, anybody who's looking to the future and thinking, I'm going to buy one of these next year, you need to be planning ahead now. You need to be putting orders in as soon as possible, because these machines are going to be a year, 2 years down the line. And what I mean is anything, I would say anything sort of 5 grand upwards. Some people have stock, but a lot of people I talked to didn't. So that's all I'm saying with that. The small machines, yes, you can go buy one tomorrow. Most of the things are there just to pick up. But as I say, a lot of the stuff just isn't available. So that's just something to bear in mind from that point of view. Other things to bear in mind with machinery is the second-hand market at the moment is absolutely crazy. You can get real good money for machines. So if you've got something like I have, 1 or 2 items at the moment in the back of your shed that you think, I haven't used in a while, I'm just hanging on to it, do I really need it, and you're looking to free up some cash for some new equipment, then I would suggest you get a local second-hand dealer or marketplace, however you sell stuff, because there is a real demand. Now that echoes with a conversation I had down there from a local dealer about the deal I got offered on the ransoms, and basically this from an industry professional who was shown the photos and everything else, more or less said what everybody else has said, that unfortunately the man who quoted for the machine has given a real, whether he's, I know he's new, whether he's inexperienced, I don't know, but unfortunately the price that I was quoted was real poor and real low, and I'm not talking $1 or $2 grand, I'm talking upwards of 6 or 7. So that's something to bear in mind if you're selling. Always get a second opinion rather than selling trade-ins and things. It's a bit like when you trade in a car and they say, oh, it's got a bump on the bumper, or scratch here, scratch there, that's going to drop money off, when really most of those are cosmetic, and an hour in the body shop and they'll and £200 they'll have them all on the road and they've just dropped your price $2 grand. So that's just something to think about, if I can get my words out, about the machinery side. So that was pretty much day one, talking to people and speaking to 3 or 4 dealers. We got all the magazines, and then we went back to the digs for a couple of hours before tea, and the plan was to meet up with a lot of the social media crew. So we have Robbie, for instance, from Ireland, we have Sam coming down from Scotland, we have people from London and Wales, and it was good to meet up with all of those and have a meal, a chat and a few drinks on the night. And like I say, by the time I retired to my room after after being out of bed at 4 o'clock the previous day, that was 11 o'clock, we were in bed for the night. So I'd managed to look at the brochures early on of the products I'd looked at, and I'd sort of made a couple of decisions. And I know I mentioned on previous videos that I had a budget of £60,000 this year to spend, and the ransoms, although I would have traded in, that would have probably took up half the budget. The ransoms is on the back hold, it's not happening. What I'm going to do is I'm going to service the machine, I'm going to put new sole plates on, I'm going to get it all done, probably spend £1,200–1,400 on it, so it's all ready to go next year like a new machine, which is the wise choice rather than spend that money. And so that'll be that comes out of the budget. When you have a budget of money like that, although I have a budget for service, that will come out of this budget, and the servicing's just for all my other stuff, if that makes sense. So we get that serviced and ready to go again like a new machine that it is, a slightly worn-in machine with a couple hundred hours. And then we are purchasing 3 first machines. Now the first machines we're purchasing are a 36-inch stander, which will replace the Wright stander we have because Wright aren't importing anymore. That'll be set to re-discharge, I believe. Then to replace the Toro mid-sizes we have, we will be replacing those with a Furus 36 walk-behind mid-size, brand new again. And the 48Z1 Furus stander that we have for mulch that we do our cemeteries and other little bits with, we will also be replacing, sorry, I'm lost off. We are keeping that, but we are getting the exact same mower, a new one. And you may be saying, why are you operating 2 of those machines? One is going to be set for mulch, and one is going to be set for re-discharge when the grass is a bit longer in cemeteries and things. And the reason I'm keeping the 2 mowers is because it's more practical. Anybody who's a dealer or anybody who knows anything about grass cutters, it is not an easy job to drop the baffles out for the mulching kit and then put them back in. It's a bit of a pain, so it's not something I would be doing myself, so we'll be in and out the dealer. So that's the plan. We'll just have the machine stood there, and if it's wet and long one day, it means that people know that mulching is a struggle when it's wet and long. What it means is we can just bang the other machine on the van, go out, and we can still be cutting grass, and it'll not be chewing the machine to bits. Looking at other products, just as a rough idea, those 3 first products are coming in at £30,000 minus the vodka and tonic, but I don't take that into me £60,000 because my VAT's reclaimable. So half the budget gone on the Furus equipment, and the next thing I invested in was this machine here. Will you get me a price over this week, do you think?
I'll tell you what, I'll just get this.
Yeah, like I say, I've looked around and I'm very keen on this.
There is some.
Now you can get these type of barrow machines, cheap and cheerful machines, for about £1,500. This is an all singing, all dancing machine. Now it comes at a cost. This company is a very good company. This machine's coming in at £5,500, which you might say, Scott, what are you doing for a power washer? I do have a power washer linked to our water barrel, our water bowser, which we water plants with, but I'll explain the predicament. Because we get a lot of wet weather, and because a lot of our play areas are over sort of grass and things, we can't get the vehicles over in the wet conditions. So by having this this bowser, basically you go to the van, you fill it up with 200 litres of water, which will last quite a while, and then you head back to the play area with your wheelbarrow type machine, fill up and then power wash the equipment off. So it's things like play areas, or it's things like I can send someone out down a row of bus shelters that we do, and signs, and basically things like that. So it's just on a trolley. It will go on a trailer to get to sites and things, but and it's the same when we're in cemeteries. We've got a water supply at the cemeteries which can be filled up pretty quickly. So that sorts that out. So it's a good investment. The other bit you saw at the end, the attachment, that's for tennis courts. We've got a couple of tennis courts which we have to do this year. So by bringing this other product in, this isn't a sweeper type attachment. This is the one with lots of nozzles, and basically as you go up and down the line on the tennis court, that's what it does. It sort of sprays it all off. And you work in lines, it pushes the sort of dirt to the side. You can keep blowing it every so often if there's too much, and then you work your way across the tennis court, and obviously the rubbish and the wet water falls off the end, whichever. All tennis courts, they're never flat to allow runoff, so wherever the camber goes to, you work that way and the water gradually drops away. So that was another investment. And the next one was a line marking machine, because mine has seen better days, and it's you can't really replace the parts on it. It's had its day. One of the bars is starting to wear really bad, because anybody who's got line markers knows that these ones where you just put the transfer wheel type, they never come clean all the time, especially not when you might line mark a pitch on a morning, chuck a bit of water in to loosen it up, but by the time you get back to the unit to clean it off properly, then everything is really, really sticky, and it's started to bond to the material. So they never get clean unless you're on a site where you look after a football pitch somewhere and you can wash it instantly. Then that's not gonna really happen. You're not gonna have the time or the ability to clean them properly. So that's where we are with that. That's a decent investment as well, not as much as other things. The one I've purchased there is £600, so just an average line marker. Now, I've spoke to a couple of people today about the sat-nav machines, and the reason I'm not buying a sat-nav machine is these machines are upwards of £20,000. Yes, they mark out from the start, so it's very easy to basically they map themselves out with the sat-nav. Bad points are that football stadiums have gone back to transfer line marking, and that is because with football stadiums getting higher and higher, what's happening is these machines aren't picking up the GPS, and that is causing football pitch markings to go nuts and not come out like they should do. So that's one thing that's bad about them. Yes, I don't do Premier League grounds that are this high or anything like that, but I just couldn't justify spending £20,000 on one of these machines just to sit in the van and watch what happens with it when I can mark a pitch in 20 minutes and I only do 3 or 4 a week. So there's got to be a bit of sense in me now, and I did, when arriving at Saltex, I did actually make the decision this year that I was going to look at products more, and I was going to make better informed decisions. You know, in the past I've gone into a dealer for a spark plug and come out with a lawnmower, so I'm trying to make better informed decisions. Money will be tight over the next few years, not for me. I don't want to sound big-headed, but not for me for the next 3 to 4, because we have contracts in place, as everybody knows. Now, 95% of those contracts can't be broken because they cancel, so I've got no worries about the companies going bust on me or telling me that they can't pay me. So I have nothing to worry about for 3 or 4 years, but I still want to be mindful that every penny counts, and at the moment in everything. So obviously my outgoings will be going up because insurance, fuel and everything else is going up, so you've got to bear that in mind, but it gives me a bit of rein to keep investing in the business. Next year they'll be renewing all this kit. Basically what it means is all these machines are new. Next year will be the year where we renew 2 vans. So that will be the plan, and what I'll be doing come January, February, once Christmas is gone, I should be starting to look for vans, because that's when I'm going to need to start putting things in place, because vans are also long delivery dates. Some are sort of a year, some are 2 years. So that's what's going to happen with that. It's going to take a while to get these things. So if I can get firm orders in place in 2023 and get new vans delivered in 2024, that will be the plan for that year. So we'll have new vans, and then 2025, 2026, when I know I've still got the income and the good money coming in, that's when I'll drop back on and probably make a big investment then of a triple, which by then could be 55, 60,000 pound the way things are increasing. So coming back to Saltex, the little bit of filming I did here, which was the little bit of filming you're going to see now, is just from some machinery clips that I got today, which is Thursday, the 2nd day, and it's the same again. We met up with Greg, Paul and a few other guys, and we toured around Saltex again, and had a look at the rest of the products we never saw the day before, and I went back over 1 or 2 things that I needed to make informed decisions on, some things that I was pondering possibly getting, and then when I went back I changed my mind, so as I do. Tea.
That's why it's got so much backup, I guess. When I saw that job, that cleaned it up lovely, didn't it?
Yeah. Almost Wednesday, not side of the road, like a little brush coming on the edge.
Yeah. Yeah, I was looking at one of these, they've got one over there, haven't they? With little...
£70k.
In the pub. No, I'm just in the pub typing me back. That's the see that Alan's talking about another one.
So that's just going to go over it.
So in regard to all the new products you saw there, it's the same again. There's a big shift to battery. Lots of battery mowers, but even speaking to the likes of Ransoms who have a battery on the stand there, these machines are still a long way off, and this has come from experts. So all this by 2025 will all be battery and everything. Yes, handheld stuff, most handheld stuff, but I'll still be using petrol blowers, I'll still be using petrol and diesel mowers, and I still think I'll be using petrol diesel mowers in 2035 and 2040, because electric cars have been around for a good while now, and they're still not doing what they promised. They promised that you'd be able to drive one end of the country to the other, and that was 5 years ago, and you'd be looking to get halfway down the country, and that's at a nominal speed. So if you adjust your speed in these cars, obviously it weakens, it drops the battery charge. So there was a big shift to battery stuff. I noticed a lot of products, Elliot had a chipper, it had an Ego battery. Alice had a mower the same as last year, and that also had an Ego battery. So Ego seem to be powering a lot of these companies with batteries and things. So they seem to be doing quite well out of other manufacturers. And apart from that, like I say, all of the brands, Milwaukee, etc., who made a big impact last year, at Saltex, who are one of the biggest stalls, they're back with more battery products. And then you've got some new companies who weren't there last year, were trying to make a splash in the same sort of circle with battery. But everybody is pushing and heading towards the battery. So that was just a short few bits of the product just to show you. I didn't get time to go around all the stands. The only other thing I'm investing in, I'm getting a new heater, so I'm getting one of the larger heaters. So that will also be coming probably April time. And what that does is basically leaves roughly about £15,000 once all of that's paid for out of my yearly budget. And I have one more thing that I'm possibly going to invest in next year, but I'm not totally sure yet, so I'm just hanging off with that for now before I make that decision. But it's looking like that will be something I invest in possibly about March time. So stay tuned for that, and that will be the last of the investments for next year. So overall, Saltex, very good event as always. Met up with some good people, chatted with some good people, and it's very good for networking really. And speak from my point of view, although most of the people I was with are private gardeners, so they do the private work. It was nice to actually meet up with people who do the commercial stuff. So for instance, over the course of Saltex, I think I had 2 or 3 conversations with Jimmy the mower and Philippa, his better half. And Jimmy's the same. Jimmy's in commercial maintenance. Jimmy also happens to run parkways. Sorry, I was just getting past a truck there. Jimmy also runs a parkway the same as mine, so it was good to chat to Jimmy and about the industry and about the problems he has in the industry, and they sort of very similar to the problems I have. So it was good to have a chat. We sort of seem to always meet up at these events. He was also at Toro the other week, so good to meet up with everybody, and looking forward to probably the next event, which will be BTME next year, which may seem a long way off, but if you take into account this year's flown over, it doesn't take long for a few months to pass by. So that's pretty much it. Any questions on anything that you might see from Saltex, or any questions on any equipment or anything, drop me a message and I'll be happy to respond. But that's pretty much it. So thanks for watching, and we will see you on the next one.